Hello, Coach Burke with Blockers Offensive Line Academy. Last week we posted a video after the big BYU Coastal Carolina game, talked about Coastal Carolina's offensive line and the great job that they did. Some people reached out and said, hey, can you find some film and kind of point that out a little bit and let us see there. So I'm gonna go ahead and try to make this video here. Showing some film, just went to YouTube, picked a random game, and it happens to be, I think it's week 2, Coastal Carolina versus Kansas. And so I'm going to go through and point out a few things on a drive here or two and just kind of jump around the film because the offensive line is very consistent with what they do, but just to be able to show you a little video here. So stay tuned. Please make sure you hit that subscribe button, hit that like button. Greatly appreciate it. Please share it on your social media as well as we're trying to grow our channel here. Greatly appreciate all the followers. Got a lot of things planned coming up here shortly. Trying to put together a big list of offensive line coaches across the country to do some offensive line clinics. To continue to spread the word on offensive line and continue to grow our crafts for everybody around the country. So thank you so much. Please make sure you hit that subscribe, hit that like button. And here in a second, we're going to be breaking down Coastal Carolina. YouTube, pulled up one of their games. It's Coastal Carolina versus Kansas, and kind of go through and do a breakdown here of their offensive line. So here, this first play, you're going to see really the two that really sticks out to me really well of doing a great job of being undersized and really using their technique to their benefit is the center and the left guard. So here in this play, I want you to go ahead and watch and really pay attention to the left guard. See how the left guard gets so nice and tight, and see how he's pulling that defensive lineman into him right here. He's staying nice and tight. And see how that really shuts that defensive lineman down. That defensive lineman, long arms, tall guy, and he's just like, what the heck, man? This guy sucked up on me. And that's what I was talking about last week on the film when I talked about the offensive linemen taking their set and our pass blocking. Don't extend, don't lock out, really suck them in close to you. You can also watch the left tackle here. You can see how he keeps them nice and tight. The big thing is when you're doing this technique, you really got to keep those feet moving. So once again, when you look at that left guard, and he just does a fantastic job here, getting his hands inside, keeping those hands inside, sitting down, keeping nice and tight to that defender. So see how the defender really has no way. He's just kind of up here waving his arms like this a little bit. And he's getting really frustrated because being a taller, longer guy, he's used to people trying to lock out and him being able to use those arms to get off those blocks. But when you're able to adjust your technique to play as a smaller offensive lineman, you're able to see just like this right here with that left guard. And then that is just awesome watching that play there. So we'll go ahead and we'll move forward here to the next play. And once again, I just pulled some random film to watch, nothing I have perfectly selected or anything like that. So we'll go ahead and jump back here and you can watch the center here. Now the left guard here, he gets that left arm in there in that double team a little bit and gets his body turned. So he's a little off from that linebacker. But if you watch that center here, you see him stay nice and tight. And he has that guy sucked into him and he's staying right on top of that defensive lineman the whole time. And that is what allows them to get those run blocks and to really control the person that they're blocking. We'll go ahead and jump forward to the next play here. I mean, I really just love the technique. And even right here, when you get this defensive lineman jumping off, watch that right guard, how he really sucks them arms in tight. They stay nice and tight up to their body every time, so they're getting that power. They're keeping that defender in tight. And then they do an excellent job of running their feet each time with that. All right, watch the center. All right, very good job there. Now, once he gets running, all right, so see the defensive lineman kind of works to get his hands in to really push that center to try to create that separation. But the good thing the center did here is when he starts to feel that, he really takes off running those feet. And yeah, he's got the, the help from the right guard, or sorry, it's actually the running back helping out there a little bit. But right here, when he starts those feet running, that's what allows him to get that block no matter what. And then once again, that nose guard for Kansas, you can tell he's a long, big guy, big and long, the way they love them defensive linemen. So you just got to stay nice and tight. All right, so this gives a little back angle view here, all right, to watch. So you see how that center, watch the center's arms. He brings them up nice and tight right off the bat, into the chest, and he gets up underneath of him, and he keeps the feet moving. So even when you watch him here, and you see right here on his first step, what kind of messed him up is he hops here on his first step. Watch the little hop, boom. All right, so that messed him up versus coming off with that little zone step or, straight up step. But he gets in there. Once he gets those feet planted and gets those feet chopping and running, he gets that defender out of the way real easily there. Go ahead and jump here to the next play. And like I said, I'm just going play by play, nothing pre-selected here. I'm just trying to show some things that they do. So watch the left guard here. Okay, he gets in there. Now they lock out. That defensive lineman pushes and gets him locked out. All right, so he stays there with him. That defensive lineman's not rushing. He's not pushing upfield. If he was pushing upfield, you would see that offensive lineman suck into him real fast. So watch here in a second. That defensive lineman pushes him out. The minute that defensive lineman goes to react, boom, he sucks up into him and stays nice and tight to him the whole way. We'll see how nice and tight he is right there. That is very good on that left guard. We're sitting here running this quarterback draw. So he's hoping that that defensive lineman goes outside so that he can just kind of run him upfield. Defensive lineman kind of stands there for a second, so he stands with him, and then he sucks him in and takes off running. Extremely good technique there. All right, you watch your right guard here. Once again, you see him get the defender sucked up into him. He gets those hands inside on those breastplates and stays nice and tight and runs those feet. Watching the technique here of Coastal Carolina's offensive line for being undersized offensive line is a thing of art. I mean, I really appreciate the work that they're doing. I really appreciate, the mastering of their craft and then what their coach is coaching them to do. It's awesome to see it. You can see that left guard here. And how he stays nice and tight and he's running. But when you suck him in there nice and tight, you can't lean, you can't try to muscle. All right, you got to suck them in nice and tight. And as soon as you feel them move, you got to take off running those feet. So that's the big piece that I would put out there for anybody looking at this and trying to master is you can't have dead feet. You can't be lazy. You got to run those feet. When you feel that guy move, you got to take off and have those feet moving with them. And that when you're watching, that's a good thing that Coastal Carolina does is they will suck those guys into them. But then right then on the snap of the ball, once they suck them in, they will just take off running those feet when they go to move. Go ahead and jump up here a little bit. All right, next play here. So, you got the defensive lineman just submarine diving down here. They're just diving down at the feet of the offensive lineman. Offensive linemen hate that. I mean, it makes it an easy block, but sometimes, but then other times it's a huge pain. And Coastal Carolina takes it in for a score there. So I'll go ahead and then jump forward here a little bit within the film. And kind of like I said, I just went on YouTube and pulled some film. And that's the thing I recommend to a lot of young offensive linemen is, technique is very important when it comes to offensive line. It's, the most important thing to me. It's more, more important than even the overall strength, in my opinion. Because once again, you could be undersized and so forth and still be successful as long as you have a good motor and you're running those feet and you have solid technique that you are consistent with. That will really make the difference for offensive linemen that may be undersized, whether that's height, whether that's weight, whether that is strength, and especially when you're looking at high school offensive line, depending on small schools versus bigger schools and so forth, you'll see, different types of techniques and different systems that are used, but you need to make sure that you are consistent with your technique. And that's some of the big things that we work on is doing the same things over and over and over and really driving in that technique so that our offensive linemen continuously perform and also are able to identify themselves when they do things wrong during the play. So then they don't have to wait to go to the sideline and get coached up about it. They're able to feel and tell. So right here is a perfect one. If you watch that left guard, you watch the right guard, you watch the center, they all come off, they get in there nice and tight, get those hands in tight, keep the defender close to them, and keep on driving, keep the feet going. You don't see them up here trying to muscle. Okay, you don't see them grabbing and trying to dump the defensive lineman, throw the defensive lineman in, throw the defensive lineman out. They just fire off in there, get those hands nice and tight, drive those feet, keep those feet moving at all times. We'll watch a couple more plays here, and then we'll get things wrapped up. Because as you're able to see, they are extremely consistent with what they do, with their offensive line, with their technique. You see them doing it over and over. And then, you know, no matter what, look here for the left guard when that backer comes blitzing and he fits up and he gets underneath of him. And he takes off running those feet. The linebacker goes back on his back. That's how you get pancakes, young men and ladies. You run your feet. You hook up and you run your feet. Even watch the left tackle here. I mean, he's playing a little high, but he doesn't try to muscle the guy. He's moving those feet, running those feet, keeping that base. I'm sure that defensive end there for Kansas is much stronger, much longer. And those types of things that on paper, you would think, okay, he should win that battle. But obviously looking down at the score and when watching the film here, you can see that Coastal Carolina's offensive line is doing great in this game and really dominating. And then I just love that left guard. When he hooks up on that linebacker, and that linebacker's coming full speed, he pulls back a little bit, all right, as they're running kind of this a deuce U block here. And he fits into him, he gets popped a little bit, and then he just takes off running those feet. I mean, just a pure athlete, nice and solid running the feet. The left guard for Coastal Carolina, I recommend anybody to really watch him and watch his technique. You know, he's pretty special with how he operates and how he controls his technique, play in and play out. Hopefully you guys got some stuff from the video there. Once again, Coach Berg of Blockers Offensive Line Academy. We've got a lot of things coming up here shortly. Please do us a favor. Please make sure you go down, click that subscribe button, hit that like button for us, share on your social media platforms. We're trying to grow the community for offensive linemen around the country, for high school, college, really break things down and put it into meaning for all offensive linemen, regardless of your size. So whether you're that small school, single way, D6 type offensive lineman, or you're one of those top 5-star Division I style linemen, really looking at different techniques and different things that coaches teach and to see their offensive line be successful. We are planning on doing some Zoom clinics coming up with some very good offensive line coaches and offensive line coordinators and head coaches around the country. So be looking for those. We're getting those scheduled, and those will be rolling out here real soon here in the next week or two. And really just, once again, trying to spread the offensive line fraternity and increase everybody's ability and to perfect their craft. So thank you so much. And once again, hit that subscribe button, hit that like button, and we greatly appreciate you tuning in.